Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Ben, and this is the X2, Macfox's top-of-the-line full suspension e-bike. I want to say a huge thanks to them for sending this bike out to me to test, but if you guys have seen my other reviews, you know that I ride bikes hard and am brutally honest about their performance, because I'd much rather talk you out of a bike than have you buy one and be disappointed. That being said, if you do decide this is the right bike for you, I would appreciate it if you'd use my affiliate link down in the description and the top pinned comment to help me to continue making videos like this. There's also a discount code down there for you to help you save a few bucks. Now keep in mind, even though I have assembled a lot of these bikes, I am not a trained mechanic, so anything you see or hear in my videos is all use at your own risk information. Having a real professional assemble a bike like this is always the safest option, but putting this one together was pretty straightforward and didn't require too much work or many additional tools. The first thing I did was unlock and remove the battery to get it fully charged up before my test ride. It's a 48 volt 20 amp hour lithium ion battery made by eLink technology, and Macfox claims the included 3 amp charger should be able to revive it in about 6 hours. The charger is UL listed, but you should always keep a close eye on a battery like this while it's charging. I've never personally had any issues, but they can be a major fire hazard if something goes wrong. While I waited, I got to work installing the handlebars. Using the little Macfox multi-tool, I tightened the 4 bar clamp bolts in a crisscross pattern, ensuring they were all tightened evenly. Next, I installed the kickstand, which is nicely placed out of the way, so when you're backing the bike up, the crank won't crash into it, but just keep in mind that you can take off with it still down, which is definitely something I would advise against, as it can cause a crash. Then I popped open my medium strength thread locker and prepped the front axle bolts. Next, I grabbed the front wheel, and with the temporary axle and brake spacer removed, I dropped the forks and caliper onto the front axle and rotor, and after extending the kickstand, I installed and tightened the axle hardware. Now, if you've never installed or tried to remove a set of pedals, keep in mind that while the right side is threaded normally or clockwise, the left side pedal is actually threaded backwards or counterclockwise. As usual with e-bikes, installing the headlight was probably the most annoying part of the entire process, and the rather floppy multi-tool wasn't very helpful, so I opted for my own Phillips screwdriver and 10mm box end wrench, which got the job done fairly quickly. Then it was just a matter of getting it plugged into the bike's wiring harness and reinstalling the battery, which actually has a rather neat feature of its own. Right underneath the charge port, we have an outgoing USB connection to charge your phone or other device. Now, if we switch the battery on and hold the power button down, the rather simple display will power up. We get 5 pedal assist level settings, and if we click the power button, it switches from odometer to a trip meter or a live readout for the battery's voltage. And with the bike and light switch turned on, we get a tail light and a brake light. However, you can accidentally adjust the adjustable brake levers to a point where they don't come in far enough to trip the sensors, which means not only will the brake light not come on, but the bike won't know to cut power to the motor when you hit the brakes. So definitely keep an eye on that. As for the headlight, if we flip the 3-position switch all the way to the right, we get an awesome low beam pattern. The middle position is just off, and all the way to the left is the low and the high beam. And to adjust both of these beams, it's as simple as tilting and then tightening the headlight cowl. While it does look a little bit odd on the wall, out on the road, these lights are actually some of the most impressive I've ever used on an e-bike, and as far as aesthetics, they really complement the rest of the bike quite nicely. Before my test ride, I also added a few of my favorite accessories, like this Rock Bros frame bag / cell phone holder, which works great for bringing a few small items along. And to help keep myself a little safer out on the road, I installed an old set of dual sport motorcycle mirrors, which can be folded out of the way or adjusted depending on your preference. And because of their design, they should hold up a little bit better in a crash than a standard mirror. Taking a closer look at the bike's components and features, you'll find that it has 20x4 Macfox branded tires with a sort of all-terrain type tread pattern, which are wrapped around some fairly classy looking spoked wheels. Because of the tread pattern, the tires do make a little bit of noise out on the road, but provide a fairly smooth and comfortable ride.
Feels fairly stable on the gravel, but when I get leaned over just a little bit too far, I can feel that front tire is starting to want to wash a little bit. Oh, what a beautiful day.
Off-road, they worked well enough, but a set of more off-road oriented knobbies would have been a much better option.
Whoa.
However,
even on these really slippery leaves and kind of wet, hard ground. This is a pretty fun bike to rip around on.
Since tire pressure directly affects the amount of tread that contacts the ground, I think it's only right to mention that before the test ride, I did set both the front and rear tires to a fairly low 10 psi, which helped not only with traction, but also added a little bit more cushion between me and the ground. And speaking of cushion and rider comfort, the dual crown forks up front have a lockable damping adjustment on the rider's right to tune spring speed, and a preload adjustment on the left to adjust for rider weight and preference. Around back, between the swing arm and frame, you'll find dual coil-over shocks with adjustable preload, which I backed all the way off, or at least as much as possible without leaving the springs to rattle around, in an attempt to try and soften them up a bit, but they still ended up feeling pretty stiff.
Whoa! Ooh! Sure handles that stuff pretty well. Surprisingly well. Doesn't take all the bumps out though, does it? Oh! Well, apparently that was a little bit too much to ask. There's some slamming going on. It's just the back shocks coming all the way open, I guess, maybe? I don't know. It's a little annoying. These forks, I have turned like all the way down as far as the compression damping goes, and I have not bottomed them once, I don't think. The backs either, so this is definitely set up for somebody a little bit heavier than me. Could be a little bit more comfortable for somebody my size with a little bit more squish, but certainly helps when I want to kind of bounce off of that back wheel and get it up in the air. It's certainly not tuned for off-road riding. Woo! That doesn't mean you can't do it, though.
And the 6061 aluminum frame seems to be up to the task. Macfox claims the bike can carry up to 220 pounds, but only weighs about 65 pounds itself, which is fairly light compared to most e-bikes, so I was curious to see how easy it would be to pedal without any assistance from the motor.
This really isn't all that bad. I think that's those thin tires and light frame, but a light mountain bike this is still not. Oh no, this is a big one. Yeah. No thanks. Power! Much better.
As far as the size of this bike, the Macfox website claims the seat height is about 33 inches off the ground, and I would say it feels like it fits my 5-foot 10-inch frame with a 31-inch inseam fairly well. While seated normally, the pedal stroke feels pretty good to me, and while there is still some extra room for those with longer legs toward the back, sitting all the way up front isn't very comfortable or conducive to pedaling. But if you had to carry a passenger between the flip-out pegs and lengthy motorcycle-style seat, I think it could certainly be done, but the back portion of the seat is by far the most comfortable.
The more I pedal, the less comfy it gets, but if I'm just sitting on it, it's actually really pretty nice. The front of the seat, however, that's like riding on a rock. The
high-rise BMX-style handlebars make for a nice upright riding position, and the rubbery clamp-on grips provide comfort and traction, which is really nice for aggressive riding, as is the thumb throttle. However, I do have one complaint about it.
Looks like the throttle and the pedal assist level are definitely linked. That kind of makes pedaling while off-road a little bit difficult, because then you can't reach for the throttle if you all of a sudden need a whole bunch of power. Ooh, yikes, that's kind of fast. And pedal assist 1 works pretty good, though.
The high seat and bars do move the overall center of gravity up quite a ways, and between that and the overall geometry of the frame and forks, the bike does feel slightly awkward at times.
Ooh, yeah, this thing feels a little squirrely out here. Woo! Yeah, I can tell that extra seat height is maybe a little bit off-putting, but the lighter frame, or maybe just lighter wheels even, is certainly a welcome thing compared to that X7. Whoa! Yeah, you can really tell that this thing is lighter. There's just no weight to that front end.
And that shouldn't be too much of a surprise, since the X2 is over 20 pounds lighter than the X7, and because of its smaller wheels and tires, there is a lot less rolling mass. So its identical 180mm slotted rotors, Macfox single piston calipers, and master cylinders do seem to work a little better, but still aren't the best in my opinion.
Ooh, they work. Could be stronger though. These Macfox hydraulic brakes are just, I don't know, not as impressive as their manual ones, really.
The aluminum pedals provide a nice large platform and have some nice grippy cleats to help keep your feet from slipping off. The crank is rather long, which adds mechanical advantage to your pedal stroke, as does the fairly small front sprocket. Following the chain to the back, you'll find just a single gear, which does make this derailleur-ish looking mechanism feel a little out of place, but it's actually just a chain tensioning device and comes with a guard already attached. In practice, it all seems to work fairly well together, more or less.
Standing and pedaling works pretty good too. I feel like something's happening on that backside though. What's that about? Did I mess up that derailleur? Oh, we got leaves wrapped around it. I'm sure that's not helpful. Yeah, sorry, derailleur. Probably not meant for chewing leaves up.
Due to the bike's single-speed gearing, at higher speeds out on the road, you'll find yourself either struggling to keep up or just ghost pedaling to appease the cadence sensor, which is partially why I reprogrammed the bike to max out at just 20 miles an hour. It is a requirement for Class 2 e-bikes in my area, but it also means that at a pedal assist level setting of 2, the bike only does about 11 miles an hour, so I can actually put in some meaningful pedaling.
Yeah, that's much nicer. Can actually keep up.
And really, if you want to pick up the pace a bit, even at pedal assist level 3 and about 14 miles an hour, pedal speed is still pretty manageable, which helped me stay warm and help the bike conserve some battery power. This bike is equipped with a 750 watt motor, which they claim puts out 65 newton meters of torque and can peak out at up to 1,000 watts.
Oh yeah, nice and strong. Woo! Oh yeah, wow, that is definitely torquier than the X7. Whoa, yeah, that's a lot more like the X1 motor. That really, whoa, is a lot more fun.
I was also pretty impressed with its hill start and climbing abilities.
A little bit of growling. And we'll get moving pretty quick though. 8 miles an hour and climbing.
And while a dual crown fork limits some e-bikes, the turning radius on the X2 is actually incredibly tight. However,
certainly turns quite quickly and kind of almost seems like it wants to fall over, but it's still, I would say, fairly controllable. Controllable enough, maybe not great for a beginner.
And likewise, off-road
feels maybe a little bit extra flickable at high speeds, but whoa, if you're ready for that, that's not a bad thing and can be a welcome thing, really.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the steering geometry or rake, but the thinner wheels also play heavily into this, so if you're looking for something a little easier to ride, the X7 with its extra fat tires might be a better option for you.
Ready? Go.
On a flat surface at pedal assist level 5, using just the throttle, I found the acceleration to be, well, not all that spectacular.
Yeah, it gets up there fairly quickly. A little bit slower at the end. How about with just the pedals once? Let's see. Ooh, just a half a turn basically, and then we get the power. Yeah, and that's a faster takeoff, isn't it? Definitely. Gotta be.
Off-road, however, I did find myself wishing for a little more power here and there.
Might be lacking a little bit on the top end for climbing stuff, but we're moving now.
And now don't get me wrong, the bike can be a ton of fun with the right expectations. I really did have a blast ripping around on it, but I think with just a few small modifications, it could be even better. For instance, the intuitive speed control of a torque sensor would be greatly appreciated, especially off-road.
Yeah, the cadence sensor works. Torque sensor would always be nicer though.
And honestly, I don't think I would mind it as much if the pedal assist level didn't also limit the amount of power you get out of the throttle.
Woo! Yeah, not having that throttle power when you need it then for lofting the front. It's just not great. I do wish these brakes were a bit better, but I mean, other than that, this thing's pretty decent. I think this is probably my favorite Macfox yet. A fine piece of machinery, my dad might say. Whoa! Let's not crash it. Yeah, certainly a very playful feeling bike. I really like that little bit of extra punch that the motor has. And it really is just a neat looking bike. It's definitely kind of their older style, but I don't know, it's almost like a classic. I don't know if it's just because the X1 was one of the first bikes that I tested and really had fun on or what, but this thing is really just, I don't know, a slick looking bike.
So, in conclusion, while there were a lot of things I liked about the X7, the X2 has to be my overall favorite out of the Macfox bikes that I've tried. I don't think it's a great beginner bike because of the sort of quick handling. The motor certainly isn't the most powerful one I've tested, especially compared to other brands, and well, neither are the brakes. But that being said, it did absolutely everything I asked it to, even off-road, and unlike the X1S's manual brakes, the X2's didn't pick up any annoying noise during the ride, which I was really happy to hear, or I suppose not to hear. With just the single 20 amp hour battery on a rather cold day with lots of pedaling, I did get about 21 miles out of a charge before the battery meter started flashing at me that it was empty, so if you need more range than that, I would highly recommend looking into a dual battery version, which should effectively double that range. But 21 miles isn't really too bad considering how and where I was riding. And after that many miles, I have to say I was pretty pleased with the bike's overall comfort, which I attribute partially to the ergonomics and plush seat, but I also believe the suspension, albeit a little stiff, made a pretty noticeable difference, especially off-road. So if you like what you heard and saw, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you decide this or any other Macfox bike seems like a good option for you, don't be afraid to use my discount code to save yourself some money, and if you'd like to help me make more content like this, make sure you use the affiliate link, that way I make a commission off of the purchase and can continue making videos like this. Otherwise, thanks for watching, make sure you get out there and explore this beautiful world that God created for us to enjoy. If you can't do that right now, here are a few other e-bike reviews I've made in the past. God bless, and we'll catch you on the next one.